Welcome to Character Development. My name's Morgan.
My name's Sydney, and today we have with us Michelle. So, a little bit of context. We're going to get into all about Michelle's career journey in a bit, but Michelle, Morgan, and I were all in the Bay Area around the same time. So, we all know each other from another life. And now we are, Michelle is doing big girl life in New York and really doing her thing. She started out her career in tech, still in tech, but also getting into more creative tech and events. But before we jump into those details, first, as usual, what's new, Morgan?
Probably like nothing. Let's see what's new. Nothing really new or exciting. So I guess that's good. Things are stable. We love stable.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing new. Let's see if y'all know I'd love to tell you about a TV show. What have I been watching? Oh, on Hulu, there's this show called Under the Bridge, and it's about a true story about this teenager who got murdered by her friends in Canada in the 90s, like 1997, something like that. But it's based on something that really happened, and they're dropping like episodes. Did you watch that Hulu series? Now I'm forgetting what it was called, but about that girl who, it was like from back in the day, and she had a teacher who held her captive.
No.
What? So good. Hold on. But it was actually really good, and it reminded me of that. Then they did like a second version, but they changed it a little bit. I'm gonna put it in the show notes or
I
whatever.
love a good TV show though. So I will be watching.
It was good, and it was drama, and I like drama if it's not like so heavy that it's just too much. Like there's some shows where it's just like too fucking much. Like, did you ever watch Luther?
Oh, yes, no. I actually did watch a few episodes of Luther.
And that one is like, it's a lot. Like you have to, it's like SPU on crack. Like you have to actually like take a second to decompress. It's not like that. It's more like, it's based on a true story. Yes. So it's a little heavy, but it's like Hulu heavy. So not crazy. Okay. But watch that. It's good. They drop episodes every week. So I think there's only like 3 episodes out right now. So it's easy to like catch up on. Okay. Oh, The Circle came back on, but I haven't started watching it yet. Have y'all started?
No, but I see it came up. I was watching Netflix yesterday and it came up. And then I think somebody posted because they were using his image as a catfish or something. And he was like live reacting to it on TikTok. It was kind of funny.
Yes. It was this lady. She was like fumbling. I only saw the TikTok. I haven't watched the show. Yeah. But this lady was basically like fumbling this baddie in The Circle as him. Yeah. Like calling her QT, but like QT.
Which is
like it was just like sick because she was like, this is so cringe. And it's not him. So
yeah, but I need to watch that before, like you need to start watching it before the world gets too heavy, or else you're going to get spoilers. And like, I don't mind a spoiler, but like, I'd rather be in the real tea with everybody else, like as it's happening.
Yeah. You have a little like window of time to watch a show before like no one cares anymore. And like the spoilers will be everywhere.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that, and then pretty much that's it. Haven't really been doing much of anything. What about you, Sid?
Well, as you can see, I'm preparing for vacation, so the hair is done.
The brain.
Other than that, just like working a lot. I don't have a direct manager right now, so doing that and trying to like hire a manager that will also like not only teach me things, but like be cool, like.
Yeah.
We've talked about this before, how much a manager can make or break your career. And I'm candid about this. Like even my senior manager knows that like that's what we're looking for. So yeah, that I think that's it. Yeah, I haven't really been watching too much TV. I need to like find some time to do that and like get back into pop culture. I feel like I don't know what's going on, which is weird for me. I was in New York last night, just for like 8 hours to see family. So I got to catch up with my cousins and like I love them. One's an Aquarius, one is a Sag like me. So it was interesting talking to another Sag that also like is in my family. And yeah, that's about it, I guess.
Oh wait, did you watch Martha's Vineyard?
No.
Get it together.
No. I'm like that behind. Like I gotta catch back up. Michelle, do you watch Summer House?
Yes, but I'm waiting. Me and my friend are supposed to watch it together. She will kill me if I start without her. So,
Okay.
But yes, I need to watch season 2. I heard the army guy's not there anymore. Thank God. He was
not.
Yeah. So
it's not any less messy though.
Period. That's what we want though.
Yeah. But it's messy in an irritating way this season, not in like a messy like, ooh, this is tea. Like actually everyone's annoying.
Yeah.
Even the people that you liked last season are annoying this season.
Oh no.
It's like life is lifing for them, I guess, but it's not giving entertainment. So
yeah. It'll be worth the kiki. Let us know when you watch it. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Do not watch any of our previous podcast episodes if you have not watched it, because we did spill a little.
I've watched season 1. I haven't watched season 2.
Okay. We're talking about a lot of season 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I can't.
No.
We're just like fast forward or something. Like, yeah, I probably should put like an episode marker, like spoilers end here and into the content. But okay, cool. Michelle, what's new with you?
So I was in Ghana for a while, visiting family and stuff. So I just got back on Monday. So that's new. I'm in New York. That's why I'm wearing this sweater, because I'm dramatic and it's not like hot right now.
How was Ghana?
It was really great. I actually really enjoyed spending a long period of time there. I think that was probably the longest time I've spent there ever.
Okay.
So that was really great. My parents live in Ghana, for context. And I was working from Ghana. So I really enjoyed that part. But I'm really happy to be back. Like, I didn't realize how much I missed my community until like the other day we were at my friend's house. She lives in Queens, so we all went over there. And it was like the only time we're all going to be in the same space, because my friend was traveling the next day to like her sister's bachelorette party, and we just all been moving around. And it was just like so nice. And like we made cookies and we were watching like YouTube and like just chatting and catching up. And it's just like, yeah, it was just really nice. So I'm happy about that. I'm happy to be back in my like space, my orbit. TV show wise, I started watching this show like Why Women Kill. It's got Lucy Lou's in it. It's like, but it's like a drama. It's kind of giving Desperate Housewives, like, but it's like 3 women, and one is the first woman is like from the 1960s. I forgot her name, but she's like a well-known actress. If you ever watch Once Upon a Time, she was like Snow White in Once Upon a Time.
Oh, okay.
So she's set in the 60s, and the next one, Lucy Liu, is set in the 80s, and then there's one that's like current, like 2019, which is probably what came out, the current day. And it's all like about like their relationships, and like, you know, it's just like, if you watch Desperate Housewives, it's very Desperate Housewives. Like, so that's been really good. I like binged season 1. I think there's one other season, and then it got canceled. So that's been really fun. I recommend it. I do. Yeah.
So check that out, because I love Desperate Housewives. Did y'all watch Devious Maids?
I only watched a few episodes. I didn't get into it like that.
Okay, so you need to give it some time and get into it, because it literally is. It's produced by Eva Longoria, and it is like a spinoff of Desperate Housewives, and it's that same vibe. But it actually is good. Like once you get through, it's good. It's a good like mindless TV. You know, like when you just want something to like get into and not have to be like, you know, when you want a bed rot or whatever. When TikTok gets canceled, you have nothing else to do. Sydney.
Disrespect on this podcast is wild.
So there's that option. But yeah, Desperate Housewives, a vibe. So
yeah.
What is it with like, and I'm guilty of it, but like, girlies love murder shows.
I know, it's a bit chaotic.
It's like that sound on TikTok. Her ears were cut off. Her arms were cut off. Like,
no, literally, that's me walking down the street. So I have like a couple murder podcasts that and I listen to them religiously. Like as soon as the episode drops for a new week, I'm listening. And so like I'm walking down the street, like living my life, and like, and it's like, and her body was cut up into my little. like looking over my shoulder every time it gets a little too sketchy. I'm like, I should have headphones on, like walking down the street, not paying any attention.
Yeah.
But
On Lake Merritt listening to murder podcasts.
That's
actually.
chaotic as fuck.
meanwhile, there's a
Wait, can you clear on this? Can I hear?
Yes. Safe space. But it's just like, I don't know, because running's boring to me. Like, it's good for you, yes. But like, I need to be mentally stimulated while I'm doing it. So like, even when I go to the gym now, anytime I have to do the stair machine, I'm on TikTok. Like, just scrolling. Yeah, because like it's easy to watch TikTok for like 30 minutes and feel like no time has passed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, apply that logic to the stairs, and then
I've been doing podcasts too when I'm doing like my cardio. So I usually, because when I'm running, I can't. I have to listen to music. Like I'm just fighting for my life right now, like for real. Like, but when I'm doing like 12-3:30 or like something of that sort, then I feel like I can listen to a podcast because I'm like a little bit calmer. So yeah, I've listened to like Your Receipts, the Receipts podcast, which is like a Black British podcast, which I love. I'm listening to them for years now, since like sophomore year of college, which is crazy. And right now there was another member, but right now it's like a Nigerian British woman and then a Ghanaian British woman, and they do episodes of Your Receipts, so people like give them like obviously their dilemmas, and then they talk about it, and it's just so chaotic. So when I'm listening to that, I get lost in it because I'm like, people are insane.
Yeah, I'm taking the recommendation. Like, that actually sounds really good.
No, it's great. It's great.
No, I definitely would rather. I mean, I found that with running, listening to a podcast that's entertaining, not like some boring like NPR, but like something salacious is what's gonna get me like through it. And then music, like yes, but I find myself running to the cadence of the music, and then I'm like tuckering out too quickly because it's not like I'm not running at the same pace the entire time. But yeah, no, the podcasts help. If anybody has any suggestions for good podcasts, we're always here for it because I can listen to people talk and I feel like I'm in the kiki for literally for hours. So
yeah.
Cool. Well, speaking of listening to people talk, let's get into it. Michelle,
Hi.
What would you say that you are known for?
Known for? I assume this is like career-wise or like
it could literally be anything.
Yeah. I think like what I'm known for probably is being somebody that is somewhat extroverted. I like connecting with people. I'm pretty honest of a person. I think people say I'm very much an Aries. So whatever you think an Aries is, that's probably my, what people think of me. But I'm also very much a person that is like, I love my friends. I love my community. I love my people. In terms of career wise, I feel like something that like people know me for is like, I really do enjoy like helping people with their businesses, I would say. Like it gives me a lot of energy, and I've done a lot of projects on the side of my main work that is around that. So very much somebody that like, okay, you got an idea, let's go. Like very action oriented, let's make it happen type vibes. And yeah, I think that's what I'm known for. Honestly, I should ask you that, Cindy. You probably could answer that way better than me, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that. You're definitely, yes, Aries. Podcast is very fire sign heavy today. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, you are really good at friendships. Like, genuinely, I feel like you're very intentional with your friendships and just like the connections that you build and maintain. But also to your point, like, yes, you are an executor. And we were talking about this a little bit because I was also saying this about Morgan. Like, Morgan is also an executor. And I feel like there are, if I had to categorize like the two types of people in life, if I had to, it's like the idea people and like the executor. But like sometimes you get like a very nice pairing of both. I feel like you two are both like ideas and like, okay, let's actually do it now. So
yeah,
I agree with that.
Oh, thank you.
Love. Okay, so talking about what you're known for, what industry are you in? What do? You say you have your career job, but also your passions. What are those two things?
Yeah, so career-wise, I work at Google. I'm a product marketer. So I'm in the marketing world. prior to that, I worked at YouTube, which is still within Google, and I was a brand marketer. So very much been marketing for a majority of my career. And I feel like on the side, what I've really enjoyed is that taking that marketing expertise, but actually applying it to like people and businesses that really like drive me, right? So right now, for example, I'm a co-founder of Foreword Labs, which is a creative agency with two of my like best friends. Shout out Mona, shout out Kyla. I don't know if they want me to say their name, but I did anyway. And so basically what we're doing right now is a multidisciplinary creative agency focused on production, marketing, which is like my specialty, and then design. So that's really working with businesses, with creators to kind of build their brands. Brands up, whether it's like merch, events, I don't know, marketing plans, launches, all of that good stuff. So that's like a way that I've taken like what I actually have been trained to do and like put it into something that like really fuels me, and like specifically working with a lot of people of color, specifically probably Black people mainly, has been really, really like beautiful for me to see and help build their businesses. So yeah.
That's dope.
Oh, I love it. It seems like this, I wouldn't even call it a pivot because it just like makes sense for you. The new path that you're on career wise seems so well aligned with just who you are as a person. Like, do you have any tips for people trying to do the same thing to figure out where they want to go in their career?
Yeah, girl. Yeah, let's get into it. Because it took me a while to get here, like for real. And like I said, I'm a very action oriented, let's do this type of person. So I'm very impatient by nature, which, you know, I'm working on every year. When I write down my intentions for a year, I'm like, be more patient. Like every year is still on the list. Like, I'm just like, I'm the type of person that like, I want to get shit done. But in terms of like career and uncovering like what you want to do and your passions, like you can't rush that process. So for me, like my tip would be, at least what I did was sit with myself. So I like at the beginning of 2022, like I knew I was never 100% happy with how my career was going. I was just going along with it versus driving it. And I was like, okay, like I really want to be intentional this year. This is my year of my career. Let's like actually spend time. So I got a career journal. I started, you know, connecting the dots a little bit more and intentionally. So I would sit with myself, either do journal prompts, like what is your ideal day? No judgment, just like say it. And then I would also like, if something really energized me with work, I would write that down. If something really annoyed me, I would write that down. I would just like be very intentional with and methodical. I'm also like half earth, so I also really love like a plan, but like methodical with like thinking through things and connecting the dots. And it took me a really long time. At one point I wanted to be like an investor, which like I hate Excel. So like, why the fuck would I want to do that? But like, I allowed myself the space to think I wanted to do every single thing and give myself grace to pivot anyway. Right. And I think that switch from this has to be the thing you have to do for the rest of your life to let's just go with it and like see what feeds you and try things and like give yourself the grace to change really helped me land on the spot where, you know, my friend hit me up and she was like, hey, I have this idea. And I was just like, this is perfect. And I've done the work to allow myself to really be in this. So yeah. So I guess my tip would be patient, give yourself grace, but also be intentional. Yeah.
Patience and grace. Patience, I can piggyback off of that because I feel like we live in a world with instant gratification right now. And like, especially, you know, as technology advances, we get things quicker and quicker. And as people, it's really hard for us to like, be like, you know what, I can sit in the process and like, the process might not just be what needs to be done from point A to point B. The process might also be figuring out yourself, what you're passionate about, not like what you think you should be doing, but like, what can I do that really uses my strengths, right? So that I like enjoy this long term and it isn't just like, okay, let's just pop off to pop off because, you know, you want something that's sustainable.
Facts, big facts.
Yeah. Well, how do you think your background has impacted your ability to figure out your career?
Oh yeah, hugely. So I, you know, grew up going to so a bit of background on my family is like my parents are very big on education, like most African families. So there's no surprise there. But They're very big on education. So I've always had that instilled in me. And I have had the privilege to go to a lot of like private schools or quote unquote good schools. I use that quote unquote very like side eye, but very like good schools academically. So because of that, I did have this innate like idea that if I worked really hard, I would get the good job and then I would be like satisfied and I would be happy and like I just have to work harder. So I always had that thing in me from a very young age. And actually that was so detrimental to me figuring out what I wanted to do, which is kind of like crazy. Like, yes, I love the fact that I had drive and it's taught me a lot. So I don't, disregard that and like the privileged positions it's put me in. But in terms of feeling like you just had to have an end goal or like there was something where like, okay, then I'll be happy. It's just like the wrong way to look at life in general, your career and outside, because that thing just keeps on going up and up and up. Right. So I, went to Tufts University and then I went and worked at Google and I thought like, okay, this is it. Like, this is the good life. Like I'm here. Like, but I wasn't satisfied. And I think that because of my upbringing, I had to do a lot of internal work and I still am to figure out like, okay, outside of all this, you should shout out to therapy. Cause my therapist is like, change the word should, like, you know what I mean? Like should, do you? So she challenged that quite a bit, but like the idea that like, do something for yourself. And I think that goes back to the journaling where like I had to really sit with myself and like strip away like the things, the money, the accolades, like all the things that like I work at Google, like that annoying, like, like people, it does feed ego sometimes, right? So taking that ego away and taking that hat off, like what are you left with? What do you actually enjoy? And that took me and is taking me a really long time to figure out, but I'm getting closer and I'm getting happier. So yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just got chills. Like, but like actually, because I feel like to your point, a lot of us were brought up like if you just constantly are trying to achieve, and if you hit all of these points that our parents or society have outlined are the definition of success, like you should be good. That's it.
Yeah.
Like just keep doing that for the next 50 years.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of us like younger millennials and zillennials or like Gen Z cuss are realizing, okay, since we were rushing to get to that point of achievement, now we literally still have 50 more years to do what? Like, what's next? So, that like hit home. And shout out to your therapist too, because, I'm appreciating the free therapy and advice right now.
No, but for real, it's such a and like I don't want to ever say like I'm done, but I think the thing is that we will never be done. We're humans, like we'll always be evolving and growing. So it's not a career like destination. It's like a journey. You're gonna pivot. This is gonna work for a little bit and it might not work forever, and that's okay. Like that's fine,
Yeah. It's okay to like course correct and try things, right? I mean, we, like Sydney said, and like you said, Michelle, we're in this point where we are like brought up to be achieve. And then you hit these pinnacle points where you're like, okay, I've gotten to this. And then like, now what? You get there and you're like, okay, and then okay, I'm gonna go work like a dog, and then get another point. But like, I'm not fulfilled. I'm not really happy in what I'm doing. I have nothing to show for it rather than like a salary, really, or like some kind of credential that has been added onto my name. But I don't have the happiness piece and the fulfillment piece. So like Sydney said, work another 50 years. Like we have so much time. I mean, not 50, but we have a lot of time in the workforce still, where it's like I would be really upset if I had to do exactly what I'm doing
for the rest of my life. Yeah.
My life. Like, God, you think about like those cartoons or those TV shows where they show like the robotic, like just day to day until you die. Like that's what that sounds like it would feel like. And that just like is all around awful. And to speak to that like younger millennial thing, like you see more and more people going into their entrepreneurial bag and like really dipping into using the things that they're getting from their jobs, like those skills, and being able to transfer that over to something that is, like long-term going to make them money, but also make them happy. And one thing I was talking to my little sister about recently was like, she's firmly a Gen Z, but a lot of people in her age group are kind of being like, forget college, forget masters, forget
Gen
whatever.
Z,
Like,
they just don't give a fuck.
they're like, I'm gonna get learn a trade, something that I can always get money from and whatever, or I'm gonna like go off on a passion and do X, Y, and Z, and then they're like living and they're fine. Whereas like in our demographic, girl, you know, when we were, everyone went to college. After high school, what was the only option? It was college. There was no like, oh, I'm just gonna like, like you're going to college, you're getting a job at a company that people know about and that's reputable, and then you're gonna work. And so it's really nice to see, like, and we've talked to so many people who are like going out and finding them and finding what fuels them. And so like, we would love to hear more about your marketing, creative, PR agency and what y'all do. I mean, I know you said that you're kind of in the newer stage of that, but give us the rundown. What kind of services y'all offer? You said it's 3 of y'all. We want all the tea. Tell the people.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm gonna say it. You guys better hire me after I say this. But to everyone listening out there, no, I'm joking. But so it's called Foreword Labs, like the forward of a book. So it was like me and 2 of my friends, Mona and Kyla. So we've known each other from Tufts. So we went to college together. I've known them since I was like 18. We've been friends ever since. And whoever told you like don't work with your friends, I don't know why they said that, because I love it personally. I feel like, okay, not all your friends, because like some of them like it's just like, girl, we're gonna fight, but like the ones that like do align, it is the most beautiful thing ever. Like we know each other so well, so like if I'm having a moment or they're having a moment, you know they're having a moment, it's okay. Like you know how to deal with it. You know that they're, when they say things, what they actually mean. There's just a lot of like understanding that we already have with each other that makes this an even better process. And they're also just like incredibly talented. So that's just like the cherry on top. But so there's 3 of us. So I do head of marketing and client relations. My other friend Muna, she's a producer by trade. She's done film production, event production. She has a flower business on the side where she does like workshops. So she's very much in the producer space. So she's like head of production and campaign execution. And then my other friend Kyla, she is just like a jack of all trades. She actually does do marketing as well, but she's also done a lot and production. She actually does all of her jobs. She could probably take all of it. But anyway, she is on the team. She is like the creative director. So she leads like the design aspect of stuff and thinks through a lot of the strategy, innovation, and all of that stuff for our business. And yeah, so between the 3 of us, our services span brand and marketing, production, and management in that area, and then also just like any design needs. So whenever, for example, one of our clients that we're going to be working with, one of them like will have like an event series that they're doing, but also wants merch, so we're helping with design, and then also wants a marketing campaign, so I'm helping with that. So we're all like working together, and then we have a really great pool of like videographers, whatever you need, photographers, designers, anything you need that like when you work with us, like we can also bring in other people. So it's not just us, depending on your needs. So whatever you want, we can make it happen. So it's really beautiful. It's been like, I studied entrepreneurship in college as a minor, and I worked at a creative agency my freshman summer in Ghana, actually. And I just love entrepreneurship. So I'm so happy that like, I'm LLC Twitter now. I'll wake up and grind Twitter, but I really am enjoying. Yeah, I'm joking, but no. But I'm really excited to have like started something and created something for myself. And like my friend always reminds me, like, we make the rules. Like we don't have to do that thing. We don't want to do that thing, and that's a beautiful thing to have. So I'm really happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Book her.
Period.
Yeah.
Right.
Book
Yeah.
them. Do you have any working with friends? Do you have any tips on working with friends or going into business with people that you know outside of your professional like?
Yeah, I've worked with friends a lot actually in my career. So I used to be the director of marketing communications for my friend's nonprofit, Code House. Shout out Ernest and team, love them. Check them out as well. They're doing great work. But so I've worked with, and he's like a really good friend of mine. I met actually during doing MLT. He also works at Google as well, but MLT is like a career prep program for Black and Latinx students. Specifically, we did the one that when you're in college. Also shout out MLT. But so I've worked with friends in the past. I've worked with friends currently. I think the tips that I would give is like, be clear about like what you can do, your boundaries and all of that stuff. I think that's a big thing because like, and also don't forget that it's still a friendship because like, for example, I was talking to my two co-founders every other day at one period, like when we were first like starting up the like agency and all of that stuff. And so we were talking a lot, but we weren't talking about each other's lives. And then I remember FaceTiming one of them and I was like, hey, like, let's catch up actually. Cause like, I don't know what's going on in your life. So I think it's like being intentional about like still being like building that relationship that you have outside of this. Being clear about your boundaries of like how much work you can put into this so that it doesn't bleed over into other things. And I think the biggest thing, this is business period, is like, get rid of that ego. Like, check the ego at the door. Your business will fail if you have an ego. Like, it's sometimes like I'm the marketer, but my producer or like my co-founder that's a producer might have the better marketing idea. And like, that's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be like, no, because like she's not a trained marketer.
Yeah.
No, that's stupid. Right. It's about the business. So I think that's a big thing that like I've enjoyed working with Black women personally, because I feel like our egos are a lot lower than I feel like in that capacity than a lot of men I've worked with in the past, whether like, you know, corporate or whatever. Like, I just think that we have a better ability of like being like, okay, like that's a really good idea. And like, you know, that like thing that we do. So I really enjoyed that. But I think ego checking is very necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. And it's like, it's hard too.
Mhm.
I will agree with you that I think like working with Black women, especially like younger ones, in my own opinion,
Yeah.
in my own experience, is a lot easier where people aren't as like, well, I'm qualified to do this and I'm trained to do this, so we can only go with my opinion or it has to be my idea or whatever.
Mhm.
But even myself, like in corporate spaces, I like have peeped that I need to check my ego sometimes too. Like I think you can do something for so long in a corporate space, and then like if someone younger than you maybe wants to like lead or take charge, like you got to be like, okay, yeah, like
Yeah.
I actually don't know everything. I actually don't know most things.
Yeah.
So let's like collab and just do the best work or provide the best service or like build the best thing possible.
Yeah, 100%. I had to check myself recently actually. There was this person, and she's a lot younger than me, and she was doing like really great work and stuff like that, and you know, she's really cool. And I remember thinking like, oh, do I want to go to this thing that they're like doing, because you know, maybe I feel like, oh, do I need to? Like, they're younger than me. Like, what am I going there? And then I'm like, girl, she's there and you're not. So there's something to learn. Like, you know what I mean? I had to really sit with myself and be like, and like, that's okay. And it's not a competition and like any of that capacity, but there's something you can learn from this. And like, there's no point like doing that egotistical thing. Like, it will get you nowhere.
Yeah.
So I had to check myself on that for real. Like, and you know, like, I learned a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like I took notes on my notes app. Like, you know, so I think it's very important as we grow and evolve as people and we get older to like definitely make sure that we're always learning and open to learning.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And self-awareness is like a key overarching term here. Like, egos happen, right? We're
Yeah.
human. But having that self-awareness to realize like I'm in my ego bag right now, I need to get out.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, my idea might not be the best idea. I've worked with lots of different groups of women in my like side, not my professional life, but in my like side passion life. And it can be difficult, like you in a way that's not like difficult in a bad way, difficult in like a challenging way. Like it's challenging you to grow in things that you might not think, oh, I needed to grow in that, or I needed to change my behavior in this kind of a way. But when you're around other, and in my case, and it sounds like in your case, Michelle, other Black women who are like just where you are, but also have their own professional like expertise to bring to the table. It's like they can teach you something. It's not humbling. It's just like, you know, let's have each other grow. Let's work together to make this like so badass because all of our names are on it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, what is, sorry, this is not just got off tangential. What does Glorilla say? At the end of the day gonna end.
Yeah, period though.
Period.
It's gonna end. So you have to make sure that whatever you are producing is the best possible, and that
exactly. Exactly. And that my idea might not come from you. And like the people I'm working with, like Mona has done like, you know, she's won like her teams have won awards for the films she's produced. Her show is going to be on HBO. It just premiered at South by Southwest. Like she's done events with like, you know, Curology. She did an influencer. Like she's done so many good stuff. And same as Kyla, like she's worked with like, I know she did some design work for like, Rico Nasty, like just really cool like things. So of course they're gonna have good ideas. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's why you're working with them and you're not working with the other person. Like, you know what I mean? So like believe in that and like invest in that. So I think honestly, you choose a good team so that they can have great ideas. So it's all about like encouraging that. Even like sometimes we're like, I might say something and then the other two are like, I don't know about that, or vice versa. Like, you know, as long as you've shared it, and like we're always like, thank you for sharing that though. Like, I'm happy you shared that because like it's a good thing that you're bringing the different idea and all of that stuff. Like we never want to like penalize you or like shut that down. Yeah. So I think that's something that like treating each other with care as well is like been really great. Yeah.
Are there other things that you've had to unlearn in this new path that maybe you've picked up from like family or corporate life that just are not applicable to what you're doing now?
That's a good question. Let me think about that. I think with corporate America, I think there's always, I think it kind of comes back to a little bit where we're talking about a little bit, but I feel like just a competitive energy that is like there a little bit more than I feel like, and I don't want to bring that into this endeavor. So for example, like there's a lot of people that like are, you know, our business is new, but like that I've been sharing about it like throughout the journey. And they might even be doing like their own agencies, or they might be doing their own creative endeavors. And I've actually like, we're like, cool, like we can collab, like we can do this thing. Like, you know what I mean? It's not as much of that competitive nature. At least that's not the energy that me or any of my co-founders, we're not going in with that. There's space for everybody at the table. And like, that's something that like, we really want to push in this. And I think that in corporate, sometimes it can feel like, I don't know how other companies work, but there's only like a certain number of like promos that you can get, a certain number of this, like somebody has to get that. Like there's a lot of that energy. And I just feel like that is like the enemy of like progress and completely like to have any of that, because I feel like reward people when they deserve to be rewarded, like, you know, take ideas where you can, collab with all the different people, you know, all of that good stuff. That is like what I want to bring into this. Like, I think people can get even better like results. And like, if it's a very much a client facing job, and I've hired agencies in my current work and worked with them. And so I know there's an element like it's a client facing role. You have to care about the client. So I think in a way to care about the client is to like honestly put that hat of like, okay, maybe it might not be the best, like we might not make the biggest bag right now. Yeah. But like this will make sense for the client, and I actually care about the client. Like, and those are the people we're working for. So it's like, I really care about you and I care about your vision. I believe in you. So even though like maybe I'm cutting my bag a little bit by collabing with this person, but I really think it's going to be a good thing for you. Like, I think that's something that is very different to corporate America that like I've had to unlearn, or like not even unlearn, but I'm happy to like kind of put into this. But I even sometimes like have to think, like check myself a little bit on that too, because I'm so ingrained of like, you know, you want to be the one that makes the most or da 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 da. And it's like, no, like if I'm doing this because I love it, and like obviously, you know, we have to make money, it has to be sustainable. But if I really care about these people, like let me give them the best result. And like, you know what? More is coming my way, blessings are coming my way as long as I do the right thing, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, given that, what do you think, looking back, it can be personal, professional, whatever, what do you think has been your character development moment, or moment that has shifted the way that you are as a person?
Ooh. My character development moment. I mean, I think I touched on it a little bit before, but I think it was like when I really started at the beginning of 2022, really started intentionally shedding these like corporate golden handcuffs. And like really started questioning, what does stability mean? What does like happiness mean? Is it a goal? Is it a destination? Like, what is it? I started to sit with myself more. And one of my friends gave really good advice when I was kind of going through this period of just like, because I was talking to her about it, and she was like, just sit with yourself. Like, don't ask people for their opinions, like right now. Like, I don't think it's about anybody. And like, I'm very much, I love getting a little opinion. Like, you know, like, why not? Like, just throw it out there. But I really just needed to sit with myself. And I think in that process of just sitting and listening to myself and stripping back the layers, I think like, and I'm still doing it. I think like it has changed my life in so many ways. Because not only do I feel like career wise, like it's been really great, but I think it's like made me question a lot of things like outside of career, like that affect outside of career, like stability, for example. Like, what does that mean? Does it mean like, you know, if I get a promotion out, like, you know, my corporate job, do I want to get a bigger house? Like, does that make sense financially? Like, or will I always be trying to do the one up thing? And like, that doesn't really make sense. Like, for example, right now, like I'm moving, I'm going to be rooming with somebody because I just realized like, I don't want to spend that much money on like that. Like, that's not what happiness and stability means to me. And like, if I really want to invest in my entrepreneur bag, like I need to like actually like start living the life where it gives me the freedom to try new things. So there's just like been a lot of like questioning that's gone in, and that really started at the beginning of 2022 and has carried down into like almost every aspect of my life, really. Yeah. So, yeah.
Love that. That's been a common thread with every entrepreneur that we've had on the pod so far. Everyone's, whether we ask them this directly or it comes out in conversation, their one thing that they always say is that you have to sacrifice. And that it might not be that word verbatim, but like there's a sacrifice in one way, whether it's like you said, you're having out like a roommate, that's a sacrifice for you, right? Because you're not having your own space anymore. In a, essentially, you know, cutting your expenses so that you can pour more into your entrepreneur bag so that you can grow long term. But that's a sacrifice for yourself. So like one common theme that we are learning with these entrepreneurs is that like it's not always the most glamorous, beautiful thing, right? Like your business might look shiny and beautiful, but like you have to make sacrifices personally to be able to really pour into, you know, what you believe in and the art or the form that you love. So that's really awesome to hear. And yeah, like I don't even
honestly, I've like, this has been so much fun. I really appreciate this. It was actually one of my goals this year to have more like speaking things. So this is like the first one, and it's just like, it's been so much fun. I love this. Like I could talk all day, as you could probably tell. So it's fun.
Okay. No, please talk more. We love talking. Sydney and I probably should shut up most of the time. We like are two people who can talk and talk too much. So it was funny because when we started the podcast, we were like, okay, we're both like going through it. Like life is life. Like let's just talk about why life is life. Like see what happens. And then we quickly realized, like, y'all don't want to hear us all the time. Like, you want to hear from people who are like in the grind of building something really dope and like what that looks like, and not just the end goal or the end product, right? Like, okay, here's this really bustling branding, marketing, PR agency, right? Like, how did they get there? Like, what are the steps for the people who are looking to do that, or like, or even inquiring? Maybe they haven't gotten to the point of sitting with themselves, but they're like, have this ideation stage in their head where they're like, I maybe would want to do, venture out into something that I want to do for me, and really looking at people who look like them too. Like, what does this look like? What are the steps? What is it realistically? I mean, we live in a society where everything is glamorized and like see the most beautiful parts of everything, but like this shit is nitty gritty.
It is easy.
This shit is nitty gritty. So yeah, I think, Sydney, do we want to lighten it up a little bit?
Yeah, we do. Got to end on some positivity.
Love it.
Okay. I am still making the character development playlist, but
I feel like that's been going on for a long time.
Okay. I did something dumb. I made it, but I made it on my personal Spotify, and then after everything was added, I was like,
yeah, I'm not doing this again. It's just
is there a transfer button, transfer ownership? I'm going to figure it out. But anyway, back to the point. What would be on your character development playlist once it is up and running?
3 songs.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1 is my go-to, which hype kind of song when it comes to career, is Reality Check by No Name. I love that song. It's on her Telephone album, so definitely like a few years ago, probably like 2017 time. But I love that song because it's really about like, I think the chorus goes like, and when that call comes, you better say hello, no hesitations. And it's just like all about like, welcoming change and like it being scary, but like going for it and accepting it. And I think it's about when she moved from like Chicago to LA or something like that for her career. So it's like very much like that's kind of the theme. So I love that. That's number 1. I do also like Hard Out Here by Ray. That's a good song. It's, there's a lot of going on in it, but like what I really love about it is like she says, no weapon against me shall ever prosper. And I'm like, yes. And it's all about like her going independent as an artist, and all of that stuff. So I really like that one. And then my last one, sorry, I'm like grabbing my phone right now because I want to get the, this one's gonna be funny. Or maybe you wouldn't think that this would be part of it. But I actually Make No Sense by NBA Youngboy. I just like, I feel like I'm Gucci Man in 2006. All these diamonds, like, come on. Like, that's a hype song. Like, I love that song. I feel like sometimes I just need that little boost. Like, so, when I need a little bit of that, I go for that song in terms of just like, yeah, I got it. Like, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry. So those are my 3.
Yeah, I was shocked. Like, I would have not, like, literally if someone was like, you can win $1 million if you guess like the artist on her playlist.
Boy.
Yeah.
Young boy. I mean, you know what? Sometimes you just need a little, you need a little something. Like, you turn up a little. So yeah, those would be my 3.
Cool. All right. I will add it to the playlist.
Yeah, I feel like the people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Like when the song goes on.
Let's see, we've got some.
Yeah, what else?
Like rowdy, like NBA Youngboy. Now we've got some Sexy Red.
Ooh.
We've got some.
Dexter had a good mix too.
We have some Atlanta artists. We have some like Cape Verdean music.
International.
Yeah, we've got a lot of like SZA kind of vibes, neo soul. We've got a little bit of everything going on in there. I mean, Black people, for one thing, we are dynamic and complex, and we have a little bit of everything going on here. So,
I love it.
We love it. We're here for it. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for coming on and kikiing with us. We are going to definitely share everything about your business with everyone so that they can get in contact with you if they need any of your services. Shoot, we might be in contact with you.
Period.
So.
I'm here for it.
I mean, look.
I'm so excited to work with people like peers. Like, that's my favorite. Like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a blessing, and you are all of the wisdom that you've imparted on us and everyone else. It will be so greatly received. So
thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I like, honestly, this has been amazing. I will do this any day. So hit me up whenever you want me to come back. If you do,
Yeah.
I'll be back
For updates. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you, guys.
Well, thanks everyone. This has been another episode of Character Development, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.